There you go. I said.
Cindy, I found that check.
Nice.
So they,
I did too.
Okay.
so they,
So now we're down to the 80 to the MCDC. Did you do that one? Okay. Yeah, now we're good.
I was busy and I
Okay,
threw it on
so
the
I found all the other ones. Those were done
They,
earlier, but
yeah,
Tammy
oh,
had
yeah.
marked them off. And of course, no
Are
one
letting
knew
us-
that, so we just went
Yeah.
with
worship
it.
and do it with the worship.
So, yeah, the
class.
only one we have to
There
do
you go,
is
so.
into
The only thing I
Okay,
like
that
about
is
mine is it has a
Yeah,
cold
yeah,
smoker
you're good.
box, so I can smoke cheese overnight and stuff in it, and it's pretty.
The way we would smoke cheese on that,
Yeah.
you take a dryer exhaust fan,
Uh-huh.
a flexible metal one,
Yeah.
and you screw, take a band clamp, put it on top of the pipe on that one,
Uh-huh.
and then you run it into a little, like, Weber or small,
Mm-hmm.
run it in the bottom of the vent,
Yeah.
and then it
Just pulls it in.
never gets much
Didn't
above
get.
100 degrees, and you leave it open, and it just, oh yeah, we smoke cheddar.
Oh, yeah.
All sorts. Go buy the big blocks, and then we smoke them.
My grandson didn't like the way I cook steaks on our grill. I said, he said, well, what's the temperature on it? I said, there's no temperature, it's a grill. Because they have a Green Mountain, I think, pellet grill.
Yeah, those
They
are.
can start it with his phone.
Yeah.
Control the temperature with his phone.
Well, there's no challenge then.
Not much.
There's a challenge.
master like you are, Colleen.
I said, next time, you can grill them.
It's not
gotta
fun.
be a grill
master. You don't need all
Yeah.
that fancy stuff.
But one of his dad's friends, neighbor, got it for him really cheap. So. If you want me to have one, you buy it.
Yeah, you can control the
Mine
temperature if
be
you want.
replaced because my shield over my flames disintegrated, and I bought like 3 different ones trying to get the right one, and it says they fit it, and
they
then
don't.
I try to put them on, and there's none of them. None of them fit.
They cut mine down. I had to take about that much off mine, so it matched with. I just took my hacksaw and cut through it because it didn't, like, it was, it says it fit that grill and
Yeah,
it
Deb
didn't,
was
so.
just, I was fine with it. She was just having a heart attack and had to move over. It was awful.
Oh, it's off?
Time.
Yep,
I got 59.
What do I have to do?
I got 59 too.
Maybe it'll reset itself overnight or something.
I hope so.
Did
But,
you unplug it?
I was trying to find Wi-Fi, like a Wi-Fi clock, so it goes off the Wi-Fi versus trying to get through the walls to get something else. I think that might be our solution.
I don't know. Well, at least we're only 1 minute off now.
Yeah.
I think we were 2 minutes off before.
Right, it'll probably get worse.
We just have a
50
few more
seconds.
seconds. Few more seconds.
That wall slows time down.
There you go.
I don't even think there's anything in that wall, knowing our luck, it's probably
It
hollow.
doesn't matter.
No, that wall.
Oh, you mean the, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was the first thing I cooked on that, so it cured it then.
How soon was Todd gonna be back?
As soon as the concert, or his daughter's part of the concert's over, so I don't know how fast that'll be.
Yeah, that's the easiest thing. Bacon always is a good thing because,
I'm ready to go whenever you are.
All right.
Yep. Call this meeting to order.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Fry. Keating. Snellings. Feigman. Baraki.
Present.
Price.
Present.
Barons.
Here.
Fromm.
Here.
7.
Okay. First up, we have approval of the minutes from the regular meeting on April 25th, 2022.
Move to approve regular minutes, April 25th, 2022.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0.
7-0.
All right, next we have public comment. Is anybody here for 5-minute public comment? Okay. Move on to business and discussion items. First, we have the locks and security cameras at 617 Broadway. Hello.
Hello, how are you guys?
Doing well, how are you?
Good, good. I'm Kate Martinez. I am the representative for Chamber and Main Street. We are currently at 617 Broadway. We moved there in January, which is where we rent the building from the city of Marysville. On Tuesday of last week, we had someone break into the office. If you're familiar with that location, we do have windows. It's open to the public for public restrooms, which is the trailhead for the rail trail, but we had somebody pull off the plexiglass that was in one of the windows and hopped over the counter and stole about $25 in cash and an $80 check that was empty from somebody who previously had purchased some chamber bucks. Thankfully, that was the only thing that was taken, but we're looking into possibly getting a new camera system, some new locks in place, just trying to make that area a little bit more secure than what it is already. We're just kind of wanting your blessing to kind of move forward with that. That way we can open that office back up a little bit.
Do you use a plexiglass window for anything?
You know, when people do come in, I know during event weeks, I've had the door open. It's a little bit more inviting sometimes. For Grow Marysville, we were operating out of that window a little bit just because we had some food set up in the hallway. It was a little bit more spacious that way if we did it like that. So here and there, yes, but not as much as I think we should.
Well, my thought was getting rid of the plexiglass completely and just building a wall back in there.
Okay.
And I'll add to that a little bit. I seem to remember that we had a meeting you had a public meeting at the Wagon Wheel, and part of the reason for wanting to move down there was to have more security.
Correct.
So, was there a reason that you allowed to have did you feel that the plexiglass window was enough to secure your area, or?
For the most part, I mean, when we initially talked about moving down there, we thought it was kind of a perfect location because one of the issues that we had at the other location was if I was gone, nobody could get in and access brochures or squirrel maps or, you know, whatever that was. So that was kind of the convenience of moving down to that location, is that it was open for public restrooms as well. I would say yes. I mean, I'd never thought that we would ever have that issue with that plexiglass being there. But I don't think, you know, you typically think about people hopping over a counter and taking that stuff out. Just something you don't prepare for.
See, I would like to see like the security glass with the, lack of the right term, the chicken wire in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it can't be busted out, but still they can talk through it. Little deal, so if they need to exchange things. If you're talking security, let's,
Yeah. Well,
you know.
that's true, but.
And we might be able to make that a little bit smaller and then hole in some of that and give them just maybe a little bit more place to store things on the inside by shelf mounting. And I'm also one of them, I'd like to see a better security camera system than what's listed.
Right now, that's about 4 foot across, am I right? 3 to 4 foot, I mean, it's a pretty good size.
I mean,
window.
yeah, I mean, it's a decent sized window.
Could cut it down half of that or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a thought.
There's a smaller window that won't give as much either.
I don't know, that's what I'd like. I'd like to see a more secure window. I don't want her to lose the ability to use that.
Yeah, you don't want to get the window too small. It's less inviting for a
And I
small
agree,
place to begin
so
with.
I don't know how big it is, so that's definitely something to
Pretty
play
good
with.
size.
Because when you're not there, you got volunteers, right?
Typically, yes, unless I'm running out to, you know, go to the bank or,
Right.
you know, if there's other things. But if I'm gone for a long period of time, yes, there's usually volunteers that are in there.
Yeah, it might make some of the volunteers feel a little bit more comfortable
Right.
since somebody's already done it once.
Right. I mean, typically we work with RSVP, and so, yeah, it's elderly volunteer that's usually coming in there. So I'm sure they would appreciate that.
And see, I'd like to see the security camera incorporate 2 corners on the outside.
That would,
So if you do have something truly happen that's worse than this, somebody takes off from there and at least you have a direction they went.
between 3 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, you know, you laugh, but
Well, I mean,
somebody lit a car on fire at 6:40 the other night, so it's all in how you wanna look at it.
I can see, I mean, we have a lot of events downtown, and I can see where it would be advantageous to have a camera, just in case something happens.
Yeah.
Heaven
You
forbid
never
something
know.
happen, I mean, it's whenever something crazy happens, they go and find security footage from somewhere and to ID people, so.
Well, ain't that what you guys asked for the other day when it happened, is if anybody had a camera down there?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yep, that was kind of where we were lacking a little bit, but, hopefully we can find something out.
Aren't they ring doorbells downtown?
So I guess the question is, are you okay with implementing a security system? I'm assuming that's okay. And we could work on figuring out the glass, because I think that'd probably be on us, since it's our building.
No, yeah,
Okay.
But Kate, Chamber Main Street's paying for all the cameras and the locks and,
Yeah, we had a volunteer that lost a key, about last month, for the big door, so we need to replace that, so that'll be on our cost.
okay.
Consensus, is that enough? Do I need a?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
Okay, consensus is enough. Okay, I just wanted to, okay, before I put it in minutes.
Alright,
That's it. Taken care of.
yeah, alright, thank you.
All right, thank you guys, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the pool wage scale.
I think that's what you asked me to do. I put it together by the notes I wrote, so if I mess something up, you have to let me know, but I thought that's what you told me. Yep, that's exactly what we told you. Okay. Move to approve the swimming pool wage scale.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0.
I'm just not sure where we're going.
We don't have any notices and
Okay,
hearings.
reality.
Next up, we have the consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, any discussion about any of the items on there? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0. Okay. Next up, we have Appropriations Ordinance number 3772.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance number 3772 in the amount of $191,959.51.
Second.
Okay, any discussion about any of the items on there? Roll call?
Keating,
Yes.
Snellings,
yes.
Bikeman,
Yes.
Gurecki,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Barons,
Yes.
Ron? Yes.
Next up, we have Austin with the staff reports.
All right, first on my list is the Frank Marshall Drive replacement plans. These plans were drawn up by CES, starting on page 40. These plans call for the complete replacement up into right before the, where it would be a cul-de-sac. The decision not to do the cul-de-sac was that there are improvements going on with the church, and any future improvements around that, we wanted some flexibility, so basically everything but that is on this. And the idea behind this replacement is to improve the drainage underneath. It includes some drainage tile, 4-inch pipes, I believe, that drain the water away. Currently, the spring has destroyed the asphalt that's there. So remove everything, put drainage tile in, put a nice new basin there, and put concrete back on top. Replace the pipe that goes from one catch basin to the other. So it just improved flow, potentially on that one too. This project was planned in this year's budget, so look for the council's approval.
What are we gonna do with the people that live down there? That's down and back.
Right.
They're gonna take out half the street at a time?
We
Are
will
they gonna
work,
just do sections of it so people can park and walk in? I mean,
We
that's a
will work-
big
yeah.
convenience for somebody.
right, we will work with the contractor to make sure that people can get to their houses first and foremost. I mean, on a project like
You
this.
may not be able to get clear to it, but if you can get
Yeah,
within
as
this reason.
as close as possible. I think the idea, is this the phasing? But we will work with the contractor as well as with the, the residents there.
Is that 10, 12 homes out there?
That is, oh, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about there, yeah.
10 homes.
And the price tag on that is?
We estimated it at, sorry about this, it's all the way at the end. Frank Marshall estimated at $200,000. But that's that was an engineer's estimate.
Right.
Maybe a couple years ago. And that was an overestimate at the
A
time.
couple years ago?
It was an overestimate at the time.
Okay.
For this very purpose.
And the main reason we're doing it is because of the spring that's behind the one property.
Yeah.
It's under the whole road
Yeah.
coming down.
Yeah, I
Yep.
know. Yep, okay.
Move to approve the Frank Marshall Drive replacement plan.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
6-1.
Next on there is 18th Street, Highway 36, not including Highway 36, but right north of Highway 36 through Carolina, the intersection up there. This is a bid request. This has been planned since 2016, since the new Casey's was being built. At that time, Casey's paid for the majority of Carolina Street to be replaced. And then the city decided to do the rest of Carolina west of their north driveway replacement. And then I think a year later, we replaced 20th Street. And now this finalizes this whole increased traffic area. We have put off maintenance, chip and seal specifically on this road because this was on the plan to be replaced, and it came up this year. I synced this all up so that we could bid all these street projects out at the same time. So maybe we can get one contractor, or it would be a better deal for the city in the end. But like I said, this has been on the books on our 5-year plan for longer than 5 years.
This includes all new curb, well, not new curb and guttering, but there's a lot of bad curb and guttering out there.
Everything on the west side is going to be replaced, and then the corner, the southeast corner of the intersection of Carolina and 18th Street.
Okay.
Yeah. We were gonna piecemeal out that west side, but it didn't make any sense, because it's like here, not here,
Yeah.
here, and it's just like, let's do the whole thing. The Casey's replaced the curb and gutter when they
Right, on their
came in,
property, right.
on the east side.
Well, I just, like I said, I drove up by there and I seen we got section painted, we got arrows, and then we got a section painted, and then,
No,
that's why I was asking.
They
if
were,
we
there,
just-
I had the street guys go out and measure, and they came back with a measurement, and I looked at it and I said, let's just do it all.
Okay,
It just
that
made
was
a
the
lot
only
more
reason I
sense.
was asking,
Yep.
so.
Any other questions?
Okay, someone wanna make a motion?
Move to improve the 18th Street Highway 36 through Carolina with concrete.
Second. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I think it's a pretty decent street, and I think you're going overboard with concrete myself, but whatever.
Okay,
The street's got a lot of crack seal. It's a lot worse shape than it looks like at the present time. A lot of alligator cracking and broken up areas under our seal. The seal hides a lot. It won't be long, it'll be coming back through.
Understood.
A lot of people that turn going into Casey's there. There's a lot of traffic.
In the bank.
Right. In the beginning, it was semis going that way. And then, in fact, we get a random semi go through there, and run over that stop sign.
But we also decided, part of the argument was that we decided not to do maintenance on it for the very purpose that we were gonna
Replace it.
replace it.
We
Okay.
held up,
It
we
would have
held
been on
up,
the seal list for this year.
it was on, the yeah, it was
All
on
right,
the seal
I'm done.
list. Yep,
Yep.
yep.
all right. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. 5-2.
All right, last street, this is, Spring Street from, 17th, to the gravel, replacement. And this one can either be concrete or asphalt. It's a high turning traffic, is basically what it is. And the semi's turning right there has really done a number, on it. So it really needs to be replaced. And it's 8 inches of concrete or 8 inches of asphalt. Either one of those would work. So that's what we're proposing for that. It was also on our 5-year plan.
Is there gonna be any advantages to going with concrete over the asphalt, just based on where this meets to, Township Road? Cause I know that there's been some issues with the grader.
Grading it off.
Getting a little, walking their portion in a little bit closer to ours, so I guess is there any benefit to, or would concrete help mitigate that issue, or?
I'm gonna ask Gary, if you don't mind.
They'll probably chip the concrete or
Yeah,
the asphalt.
you wanna,
I don't see
Gary,
a
step up to the mic, please.
I wouldn't see a big difference between the two, with the exception they're probably gonna know when they hit the concrete a lot more than the asphalt.
Right.
Gotcha.
But most of the truck traffic going there is not gonna be heavy, for the most part.
Down the gravel? No.
Down to truck repair?
Down to truck repair, it's not
Or
gonna be.
tension.
It's not gonna be heavy loaded traffic.
Does tension still have semis going down?
No, tension would not be
Tension
involved
goes
in
the other
that.
direction.
Yeah.
Tension goes that way off of it.
But they work on anything, there's loads come in that are fully
Yep,
loaded
yep,
also.
I understand that.
So, I guess
And it
I
meets a
don't know.
concrete street, right?
55.
Isn't,
Yeah.
South
No.
17th is concrete, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, into the industrial park. Yeah.
You could do asphalt, see how quick it gets tore up, just to make a proving point. I have no problem.
I mean, the whole idea of bidding both next to each other, I mean, it gives everybody a chance to bid.
Fine.
And It really, and it really doesn't it does matter, but we want to get this replaced. That's the main idea.
Spring Street, 17th Street.
And the thicker asphalt, we feel that it would do a much better job. How thick is it right now?
Well, there is no, per se, asphalt there. It was never a hot mix road. It was a gravel road that was sealed and then cold mix was spread over the top.
Okay, it'd do much better than what we have right now.
And
My
then
only
seal.
thing, sorry, my only thing looking at it is, I mean, do we need to go east of that intersection that far, I guess is my question.
Okay, so
I would think most of the truck traffic is turning right there.
my thought process behind that line is we reduce the amount of gravel roads that, so I don't, that line right there, it brings it up to the city, at the very least, the city limits where 2 properties are in the city.
The 30375 is the city limit.
Yeah. So it would break everything down, we'd have it go back down to gravel, because it is just a seal with a cold mix on top of it. And it'd bring it back to a manageable surface, and then put it right what looks to be the line of where we're supposed to be maintaining. And gives it a new surface that we don't have to worry about for a while.
I guess I'm just thinking, I mean, if it would save us, say, $20,000 or $30,000, like I say, maybe you've got a reason why, or maybe there's a benefit to going east of that intersection of ways.
That was my call. It was my call. I didn't want to include more gravel roads in our repertoire.
And I could probably see that if there was a driveway or a half, but it's not in front of anybody's house driveway. I mean, it's just basically a nice road for nothing that goes right into a gravel road.
So does,
When I'm looking at it.
does the, whatever's there now go clear out to that red?
It goes past, so all that, that dotted line is the chip and seal mixed with, covering on top of it.
Okay.
You're shortening.
I'm shortening the amount of road that we would be maintaining. And that's where my logic came in, was we would have a solid surface where we wouldn't have to drag a grader down there.
I was gonna say, if we're shortening it, we're still gonna have to maintain it on a regular basis, being gravel.
But where I put the line, where I put the
Right, very short section there.
Yeah. Where I put the line was where unless ours went past that.
No, I'm saying that if we stop at the corner,
Oh.
you're gonna be maintaining a
There you
very short stretch for a motor grader.
Yeah.
Well, unless we could work on an agreement with the township.
No, I haven't.
Gave them a little bit extra money and said, throw some rock, or something, or we pay for the rock, and, yeah. I'm just
There
saying.
at least we have a drop dead right here with this. This
I
is
know.
our property.
I'm just looking at, you're doing, $20,000-$30,000 worth of concrete, and
You
there's,
think that would be that, right? Because he's stopping
well,
here.
I don't know.
I mean, if he's stopping gated out, yeah.
300 feet, I don't know, what is there, 75 feet there maybe?
But there's actually a flag or a stake or
Yeah.
something
So
here.
all we're doing is,
Might be 100, maybe, yeah.
Might be taking-
It's not a lot, it's
No,
probably
we're
half
probably
block,
taking-
it might be $30,000-$40,000 maybe. And
At
block,
least we
blocks
have
use around
at least we would
100,000,
have
give or take.
a clear line where our, this is.
Yeah, and I can
that
see where that would make
might
sense.
be. Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Visiting with Gary here.
Yeah.
He said at the end of the additional 118 feet, he says is where CES had originally had put a marker out there. That was the edge of city limits.
That's what we were told at the time. Like I said, that was multiple years ago when we started working there on the industrial park.
it would make sense
Because that would be the
if you match that lineup down on the south side.
Yeah.
But that, on the north side is definitely out in the
Yeah, that's,
township.
that's township on the north.
Right.
Only the south side would be, yeah, you're
Right, because it'd take it up to the property line there behind the
The industrial park.
industrial park. there.
Yep.
Right, yeah, the north side's out though.
Right.
That's another one of those half and half roads.
But that was my justification behind these box systems. Now, if you want us to readjust those lines, but I put it right up to where city limits
Yeah.
on north and south.
Both sides of the road.
Well, somebody wanna make a motion?
I'm still thinking on this one, Mr. Mayor.
Well, you know, we're gonna discuss it
Well,
after the
what
motion's
kind of-
made.
Well, and we really don't know where we're at on any of these so far. I mean, as far as cost, right?
No, yeah, we're just approving going out for bids,
Going out
so
for
I
bid.
mean, it's
Yeah.
possible we get the bids in and don't do
Don't
any
do
of
any
them.
of
I
them.
mean,
Because my
Can
thought was if 303 feet, do you really do that, or do you take on the whole 420-some feet?
But then you set a precedent.
yeah, see, if
I know.
that's a
And
precedent
that-
we're
and that's
having
the
is we don't
problem when
like
you're
doing,
going
yeah,
city
half
line
and
to
half
city
roads.
line.
And Kevin, it's a pretty nice stretch of road right there.
Huh?
It's a pretty nice stretch of road
It is,
with some minimal maintenance
yeah.
that needs done.
You know, then again, are we gonna have to
We
maintain
came
the
in-
118 feet, or can we talk township into maintaining the 118 feet?
Well, they're
When
already,
we-
we've already
They
got an
already do
agreement,
it.
yeah.
They already do it.
When we sealed last year, I sealed from where our cutoff was to the end, to the gravel. So it looks, I mean, it's a fresh seal on top of anything that I thought we were leaving at the time. I just skipped the section that we were looking at tearing out.
Chip and seal does a lot of good. It makes roads look that much better.
So we can approve it to go out to bid,
Bid.
but if we
Yeah.
get the,
Yeah, if
Then
you
we
get the
don't have
bids
to
back, you
approve
don't
it.
have to go through with
That's
it.
all we're doing.
That's all you're doing is getting the bids to find out what things are gonna cost us.
Yeah.
This comment just taking me wrong here. I'll tell you why it did, because we did that on 11th Road, we chip and sealed it, and everyone thought they had an asphalt road.
Right.
Chip and seal is not an asphalt road.
Right,
I'm
exactly,
sorry.
yep. It makes the road look really nice, whatever you put it on. I mean, it was last
I
year we
mean,
did
there is cold mix underneath. It started
Some.
with chip and seal and then a cold mix overlay basically, and then chip and seal on top,
Again,
which, as long as there isn't a whole lot of heavy traffic, it will actually hold up rather well.
correct. Or no springs or anything like
Right.
that, that's what destroys everything.
I move we approve the Spring Street, 17th Street gravel, replacement bid requests in the amount of 303.75 feet.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye. Aye.
Okay, 5-2.
All right, fourth on the list is what's now becoming our yearly contracting out for curb and gutter. And I will point out that we still haven't gotten last year's done, but AHRS is set to complete that project. So what I have in here is approximately 1,039 feet of curb and gutter. It's a continuation of last year. So I just want to go out to bid, along with all these other projects to
Is this strictly curb and gutter? This is no ADA replacement or anything?
strictly curb and gutter. We will have plans with ADA, replacements.
Okay, just curious, because
Yep.
And we're not complete with what we did
a
last
year
year?
ago, that's why I noticed in your spec sheet, you have a completion date now of November 30th.
Yeah.
Because that's what, one of the things we didn't like about last year, it didn't get completed within the calendar year.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're still going to do, AHRS is still going to do the ones we slated last year. They were waiting for some opening, in their schedule.
I think we need to, along with the needs to be completed by, I think we need to put a substantial fine penalty in that too. Because there's no reason, these guys get these bids early enough in the year. There's no reason they should not be completed within a year on 1,000 feet of concrete,
Right.
curb and guttering. I don't care how busy they are. If they're gonna bid the job, do the job.
Right.
If you're not gonna do it, subcontract it out. But it needs to be done in the calendar year before the said date.
What was the cutoff last year?
There was
There
no-
was not
There
one.
wasn't one.
That's the reason it's not done.
That's the reason it's not done.
But that's the reason why they
Yeah, now
insisted
there's
to put that in there.
Okay,
This
does that
is
have a
one of
motion?
those things that shouldn't be here like this again, so.
So how much did they not get done last year?
They got all the ADA ramps
Yeah.
that they were supposed to get done, just not the curb and
It's
gutter.
not the curb and gutter project.
They got both of those, projects. And not to come to anybody's defense, but they also had the airport project. Let's see, and the 12th Street next to the highway, or not,
The high
to the high school.
Correct.
Not, and that's not a defense, but they were doing they did everything but the curb and gutter.
They bid it though.
Yeah, they bid it, that is true.
Time management is not.
So Kevin, let's not talk about this until they get what they bid done, right?
The problem is, this 1,000 feet, there's probably more like 6,000 feet of curb and guttering that actually needs replaced in the city.
Right.
If you drive around, there's a terrible lot of curb and gutter that need
You
replaced in
could
town.
probably quadruple that easy.
Yeah. No, we don't wanna stop that project, we wanna get the last year's project done, but we wanna continue
But
and
we need to
not
keep
put a hold-
continuing, so we're not backstepping like we've been.
Yeah,
And I try to just keep the ones that are full block.
Yeah, cause I know you guys can do a 6-foot
Right,
section
yeah,
or
we
whatever,
do the smaller sections, but these are pretty much full block that is
Yeah.
gone or extremely bad. Except for the one up there on 12th Street, and it's a strange curb for one, it's taller than normal, and there isn't much for drop to that catch basin.
right?
And the curb itself washes out. We've been dumping our excess concrete over that bank, trying to stabilize it and keep the rock. It was washed out clear underneath the curb,
They're on the west side.
yes.
Okay, somebody wanna make a motion?
Move to approve the curb and gutter project for bids.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Are they, I mean, if they get this bid, is it gonna, how is it gonna affect what they previously need to do?
Well, I mean, it could be another company that gets, you know,
yeah,
they
understood.
might not get
Yeah,
it.
it doesn't affect anything that they have to do in the past.
Correct.
AHRS was the one that got the contract last year, correct?
Yeah,
Because when they do the jail, they're slated to be the contractor for that too. So,
You don't have to give it to them.
I know,
Yep.
that's true.
right.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 7-0.
All right, next up is the manhole installation engineering. After we got the videoing completed and the reports back, I gave each of the engineers the results, and they either maintained their bids or resubmitted their bids based off of what they felt they needed to change. I included a breakdown of their prices for you guys to evaluate. You can see the combined. CES came in with a low bid of $21,200 to design these. we do need to get these designed and bid out as soon as possible. So we can have the manholes in place, one for lining and two for if we need to, not chip and seal, but mill and overlay the highway again.
Can we specify start and stopping points for them on this project?
What do you mean start and stopping points?
11th Street and 13th Street need to be the two they do first.
For the we can do, when we get to construction, yes. Yeah.
The only reason I'm saying that is because all the bus traffic and school traffic around that,
Uh-huh.
the ones at 9th Street and down at 7th is just gonna be traffic flow, not
Right.
school traffic.
Yeah, so we can start up here and move that way. Definitely.
Get them done before school starts.
Huh?
Get them done before school starts.
At least those two, we hope,
Yeah.
before school starts. Yeah.
Move to approve the manhole design and construction engineering from CES for $21,200.
Second.
Right. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0.
Next on my list, bids for the remodel of the bathrooms in the basement of the police department. The remodel will take two existing closet bathrooms and turn them into one locker room with a shower, washer and dryer as well. Once completed, this locker room will provide a place for police officers to clean up after being exposed to substances, for instance, blood. We budgeted $40,000 for this project. The low bid came from Peak Construction for $32,613.83. Anybody have any questions about that?
Okay, somebody want to make a motion?
Move to approve the Peak Construction bid for $32,613.83 for the police bathroom remodel.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0.
All right. Let's see. Number 7, financials and project costs. General fund has dipped below the 1 million mark for the first time this year. Expenditures are high compared to the previous month, but not compared to April 2021. They are high due to paying for the city insurance. Instead of paying monthly, we pay all at once, so April's usually a really high month in expenditures. That goes for the water and sewer funds as well. Sewer fund didn't register a negative difference due to their expenditures already being low. Let's see. The sales tax fund saw an increase of $51,111 due to high revenue and relatively low expenditures. It appears that the minimum amount of sales tax brought in has increased over the past 2 years. Some of this is due to inflation and the inclusion of online sales tax when they passed the law, I think a year ago or something like that. So that's been a bonus for the city of Marysville, and I'm sure other cities as well. Anybody have any questions on financials? Seeing none. Threw a budget workshop date out there for May 26th, Thursday, May 26th at 6 p.m. Does anybody have any issues with that?
I was just looking, no. Thankfully, it's on a Thursday. I have a softball, Wednesdays and Fridays.
Yeah. I was originally planning it on a Wednesday, but Tiger has blast ball that day, so Wednesday was not going to work for me.
So Thursday the 26th?
Thursday the 26th.
That'll be the anniversary, sorry. Trumps that one.
Mine's the day before.
Yeah, but when you get married, as long as you have, probably
Mine's,
doesn't matter anymore.
yeah, mine's 2 days later, but I've been married too long, so.
See? See, that's what she said.
45, it'll be
48.
too long.
So Todd has an issue, a big enough issue to force everybody else to change?
No, I'm not gonna make anybody else change.
Okay.
I might come for a while or something.
Bring her
Balance
along.
it. Yeah, right. Wonderful time for couples.
All right, we will set it up for May 26th.
I got it on my calendar.
That's all I had.
Next up, we have Will.
Hello. The Planning Commission met on April 14th, and we were talking about the rezoning of 1065 Pony Express Highway there. It was their recommendation to go ahead and change that back portion from suburban residential to industrial 2. If you look at the map there, I got it outlined in red, approximately the number of feet that is around there.
So the front section's gonna stay?
It'll stay commercial out front there, just like what Shop 50 is. Shop 50 is the same way. It's commercial 2 out front, and then in the back it's industrial 2.
So the front will be commercial.
So the front will stay commercial like we were planning with the comprehensive plan.
Was it I was just curious, was it a unanimous recommendation, or?
Yes, it was.
Is it? Okay. Okay. May have any concerns? Okay.
Move to accept planning commissions.
What we'll need to do is at the next meeting, then we'll have to do a resolution for it, or ordinance, is it?
Ordinance,
Okay. Ordinance,
Zoning is by ordinance.
okay.
So I'll write an ordinance and
Yep.
bring it to the next
Bring it.
meeting, okay? You are moving for me to do that?
Move
So-
Sandy to make an ordinance, bring
Okay.
for the next meeting.
Okay.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Abstain?
yeah.
Okay. So 5-1-1.
5-1-0. No,
Or
oh, yeah,
1-1,
no,
yeah.
1-1. We got more people.
Six,
611.
6-1-1.
Come on, guys. I gotta catch up.
We got some math here.
Catch up. Okay. It was 6-1-1. Parker.
Thank you.
And Jeff abstained. Next up.
Okay. Next up, we have 206 North 10th.
Yep. I did a walkthrough on that house at 206 North 10th today, and he's got all the trim up everywhere on the inside. There's still exterior trim that hasn't been put on the windows. All the electrical plugs are in, the plumbing's all hooked up, the heat's all hooked up. He's waiting to refinish the floors until they're completely done up there, so that they're not tracking up a new wood floor. So I would say that he's pretty well there on
Substantial
it.
completion has been met then.
It has. He's as far as he has most all the walls painted. There's one that he's waiting on paint for. They're having trouble getting the paint.
So we need just a motion to release the funds, or here?
As long as you didn't go take it on, I think we don't have to do anything. It's just that he's reporting to us, and we know that it is.
Yeah.
He got an extension from us.
Yeah, he,
Yeah.
till now, and so now it's completed. So-
Yeah, so
Okay.
he just released the funds.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
That's it, I think.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Will.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the street department and the dump truck bid. Gary?
guess I'm just here to basically answer any questions that you may have on the bid from Reed.
Describe what's being presented here.
Well, the old sewer truck that froze and broke, to remove all the pieces and install a new dump bed with rear air. The hydraulic system includes the controls for a sander, spreader, and a valve for the rear air for the trailer. There should be hookups for plow. The plow mount, we are going to try to pull off of the Fords that we're getting ready to surplus. Either one of the trucks that we have currently that we would be surplusing, they're part of the pump design. The pump comes off the front of the motor, so it holds up the whole front of the pump. So we'd either have to try to build something back on those. The Fords actually bolt on. Sounds like a much simpler design. Blades are a little older, but they're still working, so I didn't see much of a need for the electric tarp. It tends to get in the way more than it helps. And
You will have a tarp on it though.
we have tarps that we cover the loads with.
So
Just
we can
not-
take, if the council wants, we can take 2,200 off.
The electric tarps, when they're rolled up there, they tend to, a chunk of concrete falls over or something, and then we have issues.
So what was that? I didn't see a total on here.
With the tarp, it's 51,441.
Okay.
So 49,2, 44,10, I think, without the tarp.
What'd you say again, Gary?
49,244, 10, 241. But I'm not sure that this is an actual bid or if it's an estimate. He talked about, yeah, like the removal. It depended whether it was a day and a half or 2 days or, I mean, he's kind of guessing here because there's a lot of pieces included in this removal. So I'm not going to say, I mean, I can't tell you that it's going to be an exact bid.
Hopefully, did he bid it worst case scenario and it might
Well,
be less than that? I hope.
what I'm assuming.
Okay.
Well, I know we wanted to try to save some parts off of it though.
That was removal and we pick them up, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
This has kind of been a joint thing between me and Kent Bardman, so.
Right.
He dealt more with the removal and the keeping part of it, and I dealt with the dump truck side of it, rebuilding it.
Because I think you can probably sell the, I'm gonna call it the front snorkel and that part.
Right.
I think you can get some pretty good money out of some of that.
So the only concern you have is the removal part,
Right,
not being high enough.
the lights, I asked him about that, he said, yeah, he could do incandescent or LED, it didn't make much difference to him. Basically, yeah, the seat is almost a necessity, that truck will beat you to death.
Actually, I thought you got a pretty good deal on the seat. To be
Yeah,
honest.
that's what I thought.
That's what I think too.
Other than that, I mean, it's a 2004 truck, but if you do this, it's pretty much a new truck. I mean, the whole hydraulic pump has to be replaced to run what we need to run with it. So the drivetrain only has 9,000 miles on it. You're pre-def, which is a good thing in my opinion. A lot less problems that way. And for, like I said, basically a new truck, you're looking significantly cheaper than we usually buy rusted out junk for.
Yeah, it should be.
Is there any idea of a plus minus on the removal of the equipment? And let's be honest, it's probably gonna be plus side.
I do not.
Okay.
Did he figure a day and a half? Is that
Yes,
what that
I believe
number
so.
is? So,
He was 2 days originally, and then when he sent this one, it was a day and a half, so.
$1,000 a day.
Worst case scenario, it would go back to the 51,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Really, that's what
If we
you're
go back
talking
to
about.
51.
Yeah, that's probably
We need
worst
to have a
case scenario.
conversation.
Right.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure if we're gonna approve it, we're shored up on these numbers and it's not a surprise.
I think everything else this guy's confident on.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody wanna make a motion?
Make a motion to approve the bid for the changing the old sewer truck to a dump truck for $51,441. 10 cents.
49,
Well,
That's a
Just
removal.
factoring
Let's
it,
err on the side of caution.
yeah,
erring on the side of caution.
That's what
We'll
I was
remove-
doing.
We'll remove the electric tarp,
Yep.
just the amount you're approving.
yeah.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I got the right number.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
Okay, next up, standing committee reports, what? Oh, yes, I mean, do you get put on the agenda,
No,
or,
he's not on the agenda. He wasn't.
oh, is that what you want to do? I mean, council can do it if they want to, but public comments normally where we do that stuff.
If we don't get it done, he's gonna keep going.
Okay. All right. First up, street. Do we have anybody here that wants to talk about street? Are you here to talk about a street issue?
You mean 11th Road?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm here to talk about putting my yard back the way it was before they tore it up.
Okay.
They put the access road in
Yeah.
right next,
Mhm.
then they left it, they picked up a few rocks here and there, but they left it barren, basically.
Okay. They didn't reseed it?
We reseeded it twice.
If you wanna call that reseeded, that's fine. Everybody's got an opinion. But to
Okay.
me, that's not reseeded. There's grass a little bit here, a little bit there,
Yeah.
but it's barren in a lot of places.
Okay. Well, and, I mean, it's been awfully dry, so.
What?
It's been awfully dry, I mean, and that could be part of
I
it.
understand that, but the whole thing is, it comes down to this. Are they gonna put it back the way it was before they tore it up?
That's the way, I mean, generally when these jobs get bid, it says in there, they will return it to
Can we get
how it is generally.
Can we have them go and look at it? I mean, if it needs overseeded again or something, it's.
We seeded it
My
again.
yard's not the only yard. Mary Rowdy Bush's yard's just as bad.
Okay.
So is the only issue, is there any other issue than seeding?
No, not that I can think of right
Okay.
now.
So they seeded it in the fall when they were done with the project. And then I actually had Dom go out with his crew and seed it again this season.
Okay.
So that's where we're at.
Should-
That's
it
where
should
we're
start.
at.
You can go
Coming up
look at
then.
it again. That's fine with me.
Okay.
It's just a matter of opinion.
How
That's what it's about.
long ago Dom seeded?
Oh, 2 weeks?
It was before the last
Before the
council.
Right before this rain.
Oh,
Last
yeah,
council
we got
meeting.
rain now coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Had rain.
windstorm that came through last December just blew all that seed
Oh, probably, yeah.
away.
Yeah.
And the straw that they tried to put on top of it.
Yeah.
I just want to know if there's some kind of agreement between the city and Frontline to put it back the way that it's supposed to be. Because I had a halfway decent yard.
Mhm.
Now I don't.
Okay.
It just looks like crap. So that's my beef. And
Okay.
that's the only thing I got to say.
Okay,
We can definitely take a look at it.
Please,
okay.
I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Okay.
Why don't we just send the guys out to seed it again,
Well, if they,
and
That
then,
was a lot of bags with it.
and then inform them with a letter, if they want it to grow, they may have to water it.
I mean,
I
if they
would
seeded it a
suggest
couple,
just,
3 weeks
I
ago,
would
it should
suggest
start.
just maybe $50 worth of fertilizer and a letter that says you must water now.
The only question I have is if it was fertilized when they seeded.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, Jeff.
I would just wait off a little bit just to see what happens.
Yeah.
Because some of that seed might have got a little bit deeper than others.
It should start coming up, I
I
would
mean, it's-
think. I mean,
And
We're
it's
not
supposed-
even into the wet season.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I just don't know if that's gonna,
Let's just wait.
Mary Rowdy Booth
All right.
actually came in and told me that she was very happy with her yard and that we had picked up the rocks and that we had done a great job.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you know that.
Yeah,
She just
I
came
think-
in last week.
And right now is not the time to plant grass either.
No.
it's not the best, no.
No.
It's better in the fall.
Yeah.
it
I
is.
planted some
But-
last November, and now it's just now starting to come up.
Oh, yeah.
I just,
'Cause it's been snug on
It
dry.
takes a lot of water these next few months to
That in the
keep it
ground.
established in there.
And the ground temp's kinda
Gotta
starting to
keep
get up
after
there now.
Yeah.
well, and I feel that out there was seeded probably about the same time as the fire station. And some things at the fire station have went really well and some grass has not, so.
Right.
I guess the only thing I can say is if it's not growing by the next meeting, we'll have another conversation about it.
Okay.
All right.
I think since you actually acknowledged, it was a good start.
That's what you wanted.
Yeah, that's, yeah. So good.
All right. Anybody else have anything on street? Water and wastewater?
Oh, yeah, wait a minute, we gotta go back to street for a second.
Okay. So we never
guys
get
did
through
that.
street.
Oh,
Always-
I was thinking
Always have street.
it was because I was so lucky on Saturday night to get to work in front of my house till like 10 o'clock at night with the
Oh,
plumber.
yeah, there is a, yeah.
There is a giant hole developing at the intersection of 20th and Jenkins. It's smushed out. Have Gary look at it. Yep, just
Yeah.
look at it, put it on your radar before it takes off on us.
Yeah,
It
it's.
sounds to me like
it's
you
getting
just did
pretty-
it, so it's your fault.
Well,
It is getting.
I will up you one, Parker.
I don't want to play this game.
On my street, it's gotten, the street is so good. Finally, the township came out, but we have a ground squirrel that has made a opening in the middle of the road now.
Are you sure
And
it's
it
a ground
just
squirrel?
Yes, it is, and it
Okay.
makes me mad every time I drive by.
At least it's not a badger.
Could get close.
I have one thing on street, and I don't know. Up at the Masonic Lodge, when they widened that highway many years ago, they sealed in both ends of the tube.
Ooh.
Okay.
Tube is not accessible anymore for water. The tube has now rotted a hole in the middle of it on the top, which has made a hole coming in the front entrance about that far back off our driveway coming in there. Who is responsible for it? Is it the lodge? It's on the public right of way. Is it the state?
So's your sidewalk.
I'm gonna go with KDOT.
KDOT? I mean, we're just curious
I don't know.
on where we need to proceed or do,
think-
or what we need to do with the
Austin, you
project.
just need to look at it,
We can look at it.
and then just reach out to the state or,
Because they're the ones that change the flow of everything up
Do you
there
know
when
which
they widen
tube
the
he's talking
highway.
about, Gary? Okay,
We've actually had an issue there before.
Huh?
We've had an issue there before.
Yeah,
okay. We'll take a look at it.
okay, just let me know.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Anything
wasn't
else
happy
on-
when they changed all that up there when we
Nope.
lived there.
Anything else on the street?
No.
No? Okay. Water, wastewater?
I had somebody contact me about his
Yes.
water meter,
Okay.
sewer something at 910 Ann Street. Who can tell me about this? Because he said they moved his pit behind his
You know who
house.
it is
Yeah,
also.
I got it, yeah. 9, 10, and.
I don't know, he's questioning me about this and I don't
Okay,
know the answer.
so basically, there is a 910 Inn and 2 other houses are on this old, pipe. I think it's galvanized. And at the change of 910 Ann's ownership, he paid for a new pit to be put in. Well, we couldn't use that old pipe to go right in line with his existing, because we've done, and another reason why we're changing it out, we've done a lot of patches on that pipe. So we had to move that meter pit outside of that line and put it on our main. The issue that the resident has is he doesn't want to pay. He didn't want to pay for, in the first place, reconnecting his meter. He's still on that old pipe, and I've told him he could be on that old pipe until we switch the other 2 houses. But that does not change the fact that he's going to have to pay for a plumber to take it from his house to that meter pit, just like anybody else. Because city's only liable up to, in 2 instances, liable up to the meter pit, or liable if the meter pit is inside the house up to the property line. Everything else beyond that is the owner of the property's responsibility.
Okay.
How great a distance we talking here?
I'm not sure on that. I have to look at it again, but it's not. It wasn't close. They couldn't put it right in the same line because they had to move it.
But his water meter was still inside.
His water meter's still inside.
So he was responsible for bringing it out. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what triggers moving
That's
is
the key. That's the key.
when we
That's
bought the
if
house.
in the basement, it needs to go outside. It needs to go outside.
And he's
I see where we're at.
he's paid or paying for the meter pit. That's not an issue.
Paying toward, yeah.
He was just not very happy that he didn't know he was responsible for everything beyond the meter.
So, no matter where it was, because it was in his house, he would have had to pay that.
Yes. That's that instance.
Okay. Anything else on water, wastewater? Parks and Rec?
Yeah, on the swimming pool, have we set the time for her, when the pool's gonna close during the end of the day, or? There's some concerns from parents out there that number of lifeguards we have, they're afraid you're gonna close early, they get off work, they don't have time to swim.
So we are right now evaluating that. One, we just hired a new manager. And hopefully that's going to help the recruiting basis to get the lifeguards in. You are correct in that the current lifeguards we have on staff won't cover all hours.
So they are suggesting maybe open up later, but stay later, closing later.
We are definitely open to, in fact, I probably wouldn't want to call a Parks and Rec committee meeting before any decision was made on that to get that fine-tuned out, make sure we're thinking about all angles. I don't want to change the hours and then have everybody be upset because we didn't think of all angles. So I think that would be the right way to go. But right now, I mean, we could run a bare bones shift, and that would kill some kids over the summer.
So
We only have 7 guards right now that
That's
are
what I was gonna
certified.
Yeah.
No, and
That
I
includes
think
the
that
manager.
includes the manager, unless somebody got certified over the weekend or whatever. And that's, I think the research happened, so with 7 guards and you need 6 on with 1 rotating out, you need 7 a day, that would be working them 7 days a week. I mean.
I'm just saying, some of these ladies get off at
I know.
4 o'clock, 5 o'clock,
Right.
whatever, they wanna go swim.
I agree. I mean, I know we talked about just going 2 to 7, or, I mean, we just don't know. And they were telling me that the kids, you know, they don't wanna work too many hours, so they were trying to book that in there so that they could still be off to do what they wanted to do, and
I don't know, we don't know.
Yeah, again.
just don't know.
Again, we will, if we have to make changes, I think we'll call a committee meeting relatively quickly. I'm hoping, since he was told last Friday, that he would be the manager, that he'd been making calls, to get that taken care of.
And if you know of specifics, let us know,
Yeah, I'm
please.
just bringing
Let us-
this up because
Right,
it's
please let
their
us know.
concern.
Yep.
Absolutely, if they got suggestions, what
Morning
they think.
swim's a big concern too.
Oh,
I'm getting
we
a
know, and there's
lot of that.
absolutely no guard for that.
Yeah,
None.
I'm getting a lot on the morning swim.
Yeah, and we do, and without a guard, we can't do anything.
Well, I guess let's just set this to the committee to.
Right. So we could, actually, Lynn, tomorrow morning, start setting up a Parks and Rec committee meeting.
Okay.
When are they gonna finish filling the pool?
Well, that's another.
There's
subject.
another thing.
Figured something happened.
So they filled the pool 3/4 of the way up, so we could test the pumps and all that. Everything, all the pumps were working just fine. And one of the guys walked back into the pool house and saw water coming back through the concrete. Narrowed it down to a vault that is underneath the deck that goes between the pool house and the pool on the 12-inch line that supplies the pool. There is a crack that we can see inside the vault as it goes outside the vault towards the pool. And it's on the 12-inch line, and it looks like it's from settling of the deck. Because one of the guys pointed out they did not, when they installed the valve that's right there, they didn't put anything underneath of it. So that kind of, it's, the only thing that's holding it up is the line itself.
Okay.
So I have somebody found this out today after they filled it up 3/4 of the way. I have a nice big plumber company coming in because none of the guys around here are gonna take this job, tomorrow morning to look at the job to see if they can fit it in their schedule.
So the water that's in the pool, because we don't have any chlorine in it.
Is being drained.
Okay. So I was asking, otherwise we're gonna have a nice big green pool.
Yep.
That we're gonna have to power wash again.
Yeah, no, we started draining that.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing that up.
I'm not done with the pool yet.
Okay. All right.
2 years ago, I asked about getting some aluminum grating to put on the north side, so we didn't have to use the tarps.
Uh-huh.
Whatever happened to those?
Oh, over the, whatever
Yeah.
you call that, yeah,
What
on
did
the
we
north
do
side
this
of the
year?
building.
Nothing.
We didn't do anything this year, cause I thought the guys made something, that's what I was
There was
told.
nothing on it all winter long.
Is
I
they
walked
made
by that
something
several
back-
times.
You're right.
There was never anything put on that.
You're talking about putting like tread bright or some
Yep,
sort of.
something
yeah.
like that,
I remember
1/4 inch
them
steel,
talking about it.
laying on top of that grate on the north side, because we had that blue tarp there, and
With
the
bricks in it.
leaves and
Needs
everything
to get
fall
in there.
down in there, and the guys gotta crawl in there and clean it out. I said, why don't we just get some tread bright and put on it, and be
I
done
do
with it.
remember them talking about something, but I'll ask them about that, cause I thought they had
Yeah, you know,
installed
we-
something in there.
We can store it inside in the summertime, I mean, there's room to store it in there. Cause I noticed when they were down there working, there was probably that big a pile of leaves inside that north deal when I walked by, so, and they had to shovel them all out. 5-gallon bucket up the ladder. So, we can help the guys out, but just put something on it.
Okay. Anything else on Parks and Rec?
Yes, I've got people asking me about more camping spots in the park.
Well, that's a.
RV or tent?
RV,
How big of an RV?
I don't know, Parker. Like, I don't know. I can't answer that. Just
There's
one
five
weekend,
now, yeah.
it was busy. You
Yeah.
know, like it was packed,
Right.
and there was nowhere else for anybody else to go.
I would keep.
You can go west.
I would keep in mind, we've had in the past, the people who get paid to do RV parking, well, now, he's no longer there, complained that we even had RV parking in there.
Because we were free and we were taking,
Right, but I don't think people realize they can go to the west because, you know, it's gravel where most of them park, and that's
No,
just.
I mean, there's an actual
How about the motel?
RV park
Motel.
out there.
Yeah.
Right, that's where we send them, you know.
But some
But there's
people-
not been anybody out there.
They wanna be downtown, because they wanna be access to
wanna be free.
restaurants and things. Well, free, but also, they want access to things, especially, I mean, the people I know who come to town wanna go on the trail and eat downtown. You know, they don't wanna be running in and out, they'll just camp somewhere else. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily that much competition, and I said it before, and I'm gonna come back to it, I think it'd be nice to have spots between Elm and Walnut there in that big undefined space, because if nothing else is overflow, I mean, you could kind of prioritize the ones in the park, and then if somebody was like, oh, I see all the spots are filled, well, we have some hookups up here, and kind of, you know, get people in that area.
Where the barbecue is.
Yeah, where the barbecue is, and there's kind of along the trail there, it's big undefined space. Wouldn't be hard to have hookups there, it'd be useful for other things as well. It's unused space, and it's easy access, and, I mean, the reason we have the free camping is so people will spend money here and spend time here, right? I mean, so
That's what they're doing.
we're succeeding so much, we're gonna have to do better at providing it, it seems.
Yeah,
So.
well, and it has been brought up too about the trees down there, I know. Because, was it K-State that told
really
us
hard
that
on
they
the
don't,
trees.
they
To have
don't
them. It
recommend
packs the
having.
ground around the
It
roots,
packs
really.
them, we had to buy that,
Aaron
aerator to
Baumberger
try
is
and-
not impressed
Yeah.
that we have them driving down there.
Well, and because it's not well-defined, people, I mean, you're gonna get your camper in there however you can, so.
Well, just because you're driving on the tree roots on
Yeah,
top.
well, yeah, but I mean, it's not even just a tiny little area, it ends up being however much room it takes.
It's a lot.
But yeah, I mean, we have talked several times in the past about turning that area into an RV parking spot.
I mean, just having 220 or whatever through there, it could be useful for other things as well.
Oh, yeah.
At this point,
Well,
we're
that's
we're
been
probably
talked about
spending
before.
$350 a month or better in the park for everybody's electricity, not including water. So if you wanted to.
No, and I've had the people also tell me, you know, they would pay to stay in the park.
We have a donation thing.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're like.
And
even if you
most
charge-
cities do charge. Most cities do charge. A lot of cities do it, and they charge. It's not free. I will say that in the meetings that I go to. Most cities do charge, and it's not free. So you could address that as well, if you want to. I mean, like Westmoreland, when you go by there, you know that, and you have to stop in all those places. The city owns it, but
A few years, that'll be real nice, and they get all them trees a little bigger, so it actually shades your camper.
Yeah.
It was a good thought when they put it in, I mean, right there, right off the highway.
right.
Okay. Anything else on Parks and Rec? Cemetery and Airport? Police and Fire? Admin and Finance?
Yeah. I was
Got-
scrolling through Facebook the other night, and I don't remember what the gal's name was, but she had done a beautiful article about Marysville, that everyone needed to come to Marysville and visit. I forgot what her name was, so.
That was those bloggers that
Yeah.
came here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that Convention and Tourism brought here.
Yeah.
We paid for them
She
to
did an
stay. Yeah.
excellent job on that, and, you know, highlighting what was available in Marysville and the community and Alco Springs and stuff, so.
They're basically just going straight down 36 and doing blog to every town that they come to.
Yeah, but still, you know.
She did, yes.
I thought it was a great article that she put in there, so.
It was on they were stay overnight, where they ate,
Yep,
the town overall.
yeah.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
How much did we get, do we know, from Pony Up for the cemetery?
About $3,000, for the cemetery?
For the cemetery and then
Like
for the,
$300 or $400 for the cemetery?
5. You can look it up online.
okay, I didn't know that.
$300 to $500 on the cemetery and $3,000 on the
brick wall,
Brick wall.
Kester
Yes.
House.
Yes.
Kester. Okay.
Okay. Anything else in admin and finance? Okay. We do have a couple of appointments to the library board.
Move to approve the mayor's appointments.
Second.
Who's this Dr. Zach Pedersen?
Peterson, and he
New one, it's a.
he's our associate.
He's there.
He's our associate.
Okay, I had no clue.
And we're glad to have him.
Yes, we are. We are glad to have you.
Okay. Then I have a second.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 8-0.
Still writing 7.
We don't have anything with the city. I mean, we don't have a reason to go into executive session or anything, do we?
No.
It's
Okay.
early if we
think
need
so.
to.
Round table.
No,
Jeff?
I was very impressed with the crowd this weekend.
Good.
I thought Saturday they had a heck of a turnout at the flea market and the Mother's Day event, so. We figured out a way to get some power fixed
Yep.
that morning.
Yeah, good old Will came down and helped
Sunday
us out
morning?
with our power issue.
Yep.
So we had to get Will and Austin out of bed at 6:45 in the morning, but we got it taken care of.
I know at lunchtime you guys were swamped.
Yeah. I think we did about 600 probably, close to that.
That's good.
Yeah,
It was good chicken. that's
yeah, it
for
was
sure.
good. It was good.
If you like chicken.
You don't like chicken?
No.
Okay, anything else? No, Lori?
Yes.
Yes.
I've got a lot of phone calls since I've been home from vacation.
Okay.
15th and Calhoun. Corner of 15th and Calhoun. Red Jeep's
Okay.
been in the yard. I touched base with this with Cindy Sunday morning. Red Jeep's been pulled up by the front porch since New Year's Eve, hasn't moved. Green Jeep on the north side of the house has been parked there since fall and has not moved at all.
But they're both in the yard.
No, one's
They're
in
on
the
the
street.
street.
The
On
red
street.
one's in the yard,
Red
the
one's in the
green
yard.
Jeep
Okay.
is on the street.
I'm gonna take a guess, the green and black one probably doesn't run.
Well, there's a neighbor that's not real happy about it, they called me, so.
4 weeks in a
There's
creek.
somebody in town this weekend getting rid of vehicles
Oh, is that
on the
the
street?
one?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
That's all I got.
No,
Okay.
Keith, I did tell him that.
Yeah, a dog gets out of a house and it bites their neighbor. I mean, our policy, that dog's gotta be removed, right? I mean,
That's up to the police take care of that, and then the judge
Okay.
makes that
okay,
decision.
but they can't do nothing unless that person reports it, correct? Right?
Yeah, yep.
Even though they know about it,
Yeah.
but not actually,
They didn't file a complaint.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to file a complaint.
that's all I got.
Now, Keith, if you come over to my house and that little dog bites you, I will let you remove it.
Kyle? Parker?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna go off of what Lori kinda started.
Oh, it's all Lori's fault.
No, but 15th and Jenkins, that needs to be looked at.
15th and Jenkins? She said Calhoun.
Yeah, you got brush
Yeah,
that's burying
it's
a,
adding on.
Oh, okay.
that's burying a, gas meter. You also got, there's all sorts of good stuff. 1009 North Street. That needs to be solved.
Does that have the lawnmower out front? The orange
They're
lawnmower?
mowing around?
Yeah,
Which one?
the orange lawnmower, the one they're mowing around,
On 15th and
No,
Jenkins?
north,
North.
North Street.
North, just don't drive by the backyard, maybe that'll be okay for you.
Okay,
It's, as the neighbor explained, the clothes have been on the clothesline since October.
They're dry. Are they?
They're probably dry, I will give them
They
that.
were.
But basically what they did is they took their stuff in the front yard and put it in the backyard, including
The van.
the van.
Oh, they got the fence out there. Little fenced in area.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that's the one. That's the one.
yes. I'm just saying with what we did 2 weeks ago about some bags of cans and a mattress, this is 1,000 times worse.
Okay.
I agree.
And the neighbors are done.
Yeah.
They're not slightly done, they're angry now. Big difference.
Yeah.
You also have that's on North Street. Sorry, I made my notes. 1500 Jenkins is all the brush piled up over the gas meter so you can't see it.
Okay.
And probably 15, 20 lawnmowers stacked on top of each other.
And mowers.
Yeah, all by the garage. And this is like 5 minutes of driving around. I could drive around more, but as I like to say, this isn't my job. We got somebody hired for this.
Right. And he just created a whole, I think he did 10
Said
houses
10
this
today.
morning. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I think that's it.
for now.
Did you get any of the paperwork from that meeting Jason and I went to last
You
week?
sent me the land bank stuff.
But there was a thing on code enforcement too. And I have those things in my email, I can forward them to you.
I think
The slides.
the one thing I got was the land bank.
There, we were able to access the slides, and there was one of the meetings I went to was about code enforcement. And, Will was asking about going onto a property. Well, you can get an administrative warrant that allows you to go on and that's different than a search warrant and allows you to go on. So
And I
I'll get those.
think our book does allow us to, and John McNear said we can.
Okay.
Because our code specifically says we can for this purpose.
Okay.
Because it's not a search warrant for police.
Right.
But yeah, because that was another thing too, there was another mayor there, and I'm trying to think where he was from.
Columbus, Kansas.
Okay. And they had implemented,
A
put in
land
place a
bank.
land bank, which has been thrown around a couple times before, and he had nothing but good things to say
Right.
about it.
Like for Murphy's property, we put it into a land bank, and then something about,
We'd have to buy it from them to put it into the land bank, correct? So
No,
we'd have to own
I
it?
think the way he talked, they basically donate, I mean, a lot of times,
Can't donate what you don't own.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm
Well,
like, you,
if they own it.
yeah. So, anyway,
Well, we have had cases where we've had property that got condemned, it got assessed against the property, they own the property, but they owed back taxes, and then we had to wait another 2 or 3 years for a sheriff's sale. And I think this would be a way that they could, if they wanted to get away from it, they could roll into that land bank instead of accumulating 2 more years of taxes that they aren't gonna pay, and then you could get it. My understanding, there's a board, I think that gets appointed by the council that controls those properties, that's kinda independent from council.
I just don't know how you can get the property away from them to put it in there,
Well,
They
maybe
donated to get away from the liability of
Yeah,
of having to pay the taxes,
taxes and
Which
owning
they-
the land.
So what do they do with the tax?
which they don't have to.
well, you can,
Or if they have to sell it and they're gonna make gains on it.
yeah,
Say it's a $30,000 property on the books, and they sell it and it's worth 60, and they can't afford the gains.
Every sheriff's sale we've ever had, it doesn't even come close to bringing what the.
oh, no.
So, I've never seen it happen in the city, except for one time that we even got our money.
And then they get a write-off on their taxes when they donate
but
it.
he also said something about
No money.
the county forgiving their part and the
Yeah.
city forgiving their part on those taxes
Yeah,
to have it in this land bank, so.
yeah, the back taxes get forgiven is one of the advantages too, so.
Anyway,
something to
I
think about. I
emailed him
don't
to
know
send
if-
me all that stuff that I then forwarded to you, so.
And I guess the question is, would council like to maybe on a future meeting have a copy of the ordinance that they passed, just to review and kind of see if it's something that you like, don't like, whatever? Okay.
Include all that information that you sent in, okay.
Okay, anything else?
We had to wait to go to our hotel because it was pouring down
Pouring
rain. That was that last Friday night when it, so.
But no tornadoes where we were at, thank goodness. One of the presenters, or one of the ones doing one of the seminars was from, was it Arizona?
Oh,
Where was he
yeah, no.
from?
Yeah, he was from Scottsdale.
Okay. And he was just kind of watching it rain because he doesn't get to see that, I don't think, a whole lot.
He was intrigued by it.
Yeah, he was pretty thrilled that we had a thunderstorm while he was here.
Yeah, but that was the night Andover got hit. Because there was people from Andover there and they left right away.
Yeah, they did. So, anything else?
I'm done.
You, Kevin?
Just want to reiterate, like Jeff did, great crowd, Mother's Day weekend down in the park, Saturday when I was down there. Hundreds of people walking around, good vendors, I mean, looked like they had a great time. Park looked good, so. That's all I have, sir.
All right. I just have a couple little things, because like Colleen said, we went to a league meeting here a couple weeks ago, and you always, a lot of times you learn as much talking to some of the other people from the other municipalities as you do from the seminars and everything. And they always kind of press you on, one of the things always is, and they were pressing this a lot, was having uncomfortable conversations with your constituents. I don't know, and I know last time it kind of turned into a little bit of a mess, but I don't know if we would want to start a conversation about 11th, 12th Road again in Keystone. I would be interested in finding out what our options are as far as, like, say, a benefit district or a tax district or whatever you want to call it, and who you can and can't include in that. I know last time we just didn't, I think first you kind of have to get the information to find out what your options are, and then maybe you would have a meeting sometime down the road. I know last time we had just the people that were 11th and 12th in Keystone. I don't know if you do that again or if you just invite the entire town at large. Because unless you're assessing them 100%, if everybody's paying for part of it, then everybody basically would be a stakeholder in it. It's been another, 4 years since we did that last time? I think it has been about 4 years.
I think too, you have to prep them for it.
Well, last time we prepped them and that didn't turn out so good either.
Well, yeah, but you gotta show that you have a good, not a plan for next year, 2 years from now, a 5-year plan or something like that.
Yeah.
And you gotta let them know up front, this is how we can do it.
Well, I mean, I would like to see.
And you gotta get buy-in from the county.
I doubt that. I mean, look, I would love that, but I'm just saying.
That's my thing, is if you keep having this concept of, no, the county's never gonna work with us, or we're never gonna work with them, you're not gonna get anywhere.
You're gonna get one county commissioner probably that would go along, but the problem is if you set that precedent, then every other town is gonna want the county coming in and paying for their roads.
And if you look at what you're paying, Jason, every year to the county,
I know.
what services are you
But,
getting?
well, health department, courthouse, hovering center, I mean, I get benefits.
You're not.
Well, I get benefits, I'm saying I get county benefits.
You just need to be a politician, Jason.
Well,
Reach out to them.
Here's the thing, you could reach out, and if they say no, it's on them.
I mean, we can try. If I was the county commissioner, I would be like, no, that's
You gotta put it in their
road and.
Put it in their seat, you know?
Let them come to the meeting, let them,
We go to their meeting.
Right,
One of us goes to their meeting.
but I mean, if we get everybody and have everybody come in about a meeting about those, then have them come to that meeting too.
We could, I mean, we can try.
I'll go to every county commissioners meeting and I'll report back.
I know.
What was said in the background, I'm sure.
I mean, and you get into that, and then, I know the argument has been made before that.
Vote on that?
Is it like when it comes to sales tax, we have a lot of people that come into Walmart and come into town that do not live in Marysville, that live in the county that spend sales tax money.
That's called free money, Jason.
I know, but I'm saying we aren't gonna share that with the county, obviously.
I'm with Jeff on this, it's more of us
It's a
funding them
relation building.
than the other side, but whatever.
I know.
You gotta build a relationship.
We have the most assets.
Well, they've got a jail to build.
Hold on,
They show no appreciation.
Does the county have any control over these roads?
No, I
They have
mean,
access to
technically it's a
different funding than we do.
township.
As a county, they have different access than we do as a, what are we, a class two? Class
Two,
three?
two,
Two?
Two?
Class
that's
two
two,
city.
we're a city of the second class, if that's what you're asking.
They have different access at the state and federal level
Yeah.
than we do.
Right, but again, you're talking about paving
The city
a
is second
road
class.
that's not the county's and not the city's.
We're a city of the second class.
Well, or is
Well,
half the, yeah.
And the
There's half the
township,
cities
and the,
not the
t- and the township is,
Well, no.
is gaining money off of those
Too many
roads.
people, then you have to.
That's where you gotta have the conversation, Austin.
Right.
And if you were gonna continue to say that's not a road, that's a township's, you gotta think about the people that are out there paying taxes at a very high rate,
Yeah.
Same rate as everybody else.
different classification on the tax side with the county.
Appraised
Yes, it is.
value.
Yes, it is.
It's appraised value.
I mean, it's just a
Appraised
bill.
value.
It's a different tax classification. I'm not gonna get,
Okay,
yeah. You can't make assumptions.
Well, I guess what I'm asking is, would council like to have John look into what some of our options are out there as far as taxing a benefit district or?
I feel like we should have, and this is gonna be Monday morning quarterbacking, we probably should have borrowed money when it was so cheap and just done the damn thing.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Well, but borrow, I mean, the hard question is how you pay for the money, how you pay back the money you borrow, I guess. And that was where it broke down last time, was who's gonna pay for it.
Yeah,
Was,
and I know we talked about on Keating Drive, trying to rope in every feeder street and whatnot that goes into that area, but, and I don't think we ever did figure out whether we could, because we kinda got cut off, because
that
people
was-
didn't think we should.
well, that was that's what it would be if you establish a taxing district.
Yeah.
It would be everyone who lives out there, it doesn't matter if you're in the township, the county, the city, everybody who lives there, and you don't have to have, otherwise the rest of the streets in town were done by how much frontage you have.
Right.
So,
But Frank Marshall Drive, if you look at state statute, we should be able to go to every resident there and ask them to pay for the improvements we're gonna make.
absolutely,
Yep, but we're not.
because they paid for the first one. And that's kind of what that's what ours, I mean, I have an entire drawer full
They
of
did.
every street in this
'Cause
town
when
was
we
paid for by
replaced-
the people who lives on it.
well, as
And
example,
then we keep them up.
when we did Hometown Drive, what, 3-4 years ago, we didn't, I mean, we did that and they didn't get assessed anything. Because they'd already self-assessed when Hometown did the development out there. Now, the road
Well,
wasn't
yeah,
done
out of the
properly.
sewer district, out of the sewer district.
No,
Be
they
careful there.
They had to
would've,
put
they
in
would've
their own
figured, I
street.
mean, if the developer spent $40,000 on that road, they somehow charged that homeowner. I mean, they
Right.
just got rolled into the price of the lot or the house or something, they just didn't eat.
Okay.
I mean, they're gonna get paid for it, they're not just gonna eat $40,000
I do think
in
Sixth
concrete.
Street got paid for twice by the
Um,
people who live on it, because they redid it.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that one did, but mostly,
But they did, I mean, they put in their own roads.
But the city
They
never
weren't-
assessed it.
no.
No, they did it themselves, they put in their own roads and it was just
And
part
so
of
did the
that.
residents out of Keystone.
That's correct.
Yep.
That's correct. So that argument's out the door, right there.
What do you mean?
Well, they've already paid for the road.
Right, because they.
Well, they,
Yes.
yeah,
No, you're
Well-
talking about the Keystone Addition.
they already
Right.
paid.
They paid for
They paid
those
for
roads.
Ashbury,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Ashbury and those
And we
roads
know, and we
inside
know
there.
that we're not too many years away from having to spend a few $100,000 redoing Ashbury because it wasn't
Well, we have done
put
some.
in properly. I mean, it's like Hometown Drive, it has not held up as it should have.
The other side out there is getting really bad.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So we can have John look
John look
into
into-
what our legalities are
Okay.
as far as the taxing district.
What it takes and who's included.
Because that's the thing, yeah, I mean, I don't see how there's a fair way to do the roads out there and not include some of the people that aren't necessarily in city limits. Because if you're getting a new road in front of your house, you should pay for that somehow.
So do you include houses that go onto Keystone, that's sections of Keystone that aren't currently in
That's
city
what the point of the
limits?
taxing
Yeah,
district
you-
is,
I
yes.
think
So
you
they
can
don't even
include-
actually, they'd be roped in on it and not even
Because they
actually
use
get
that road,
improvements in
because there's
front
no
of
other
their
way
house.
for them to get to town.
Well, they could go to 11th Terrace South. I mean, in
Go
theory.
where?
I mean, if you lived on, okay, the section of Keystone Road between 11th Terrace and 12th Road, And there's, what, 3, 4 houses along that
Oh,
section?
you mean go down around, come up
Yeah,
on
I
12,
mean, in
on
theory, they
13th
don't
Road.
have to use those.
Right, they could go on I was thinking of
Personally, I
11th
don't
Terrace
think you-
South.
I don't think you worry about that road until they develop more out there.
Oh, I know, I'm just thinking those
Which-
people
which
who
one?
live with
11th
between-
Terrace?
Yeah, between 11th Terrace, well, and then for that matter, 11th Terrace connects to city streets again, and
It
it's
does.
gravel.
I mean, in
But
my
those city
mind,
streets are gravel.
yeah, in my mind, if you're gonna do it, you just do it all at once and you get it done.
Dawson Drive is still gravel. It's
I
not.
mean, unless those homeowners all come and say, no, we like our gravel and we don't want, and then when you did 11th Terrace, and they'd be roped in a different assessment.
Well,
I mean, there's a lot of conversations to be had, like, do you need to do from Keystone South on 12th, do you need to do that road? Or originally on the prints, there was supposed to be, Ashbury was supposed to come up Curve and then dump out on Keystone to the west.
Right.
So, do you need to do
Well, we're
12th
lucky they
Road
didn't
all the
build
way?
those roads, because we'd be redoing those roads now.
I'm not gonna argue with that, yeah.
And that's, and, you know, to me, I always thought 11th Terrace going through to the highway is a great long-term plan, except for, I mean, it seems like we're not in a position to build new roads when we can't build the roads we have.
Yeah.
The way it.
I agree, but it would infill, and there's services there, and
That's just
it'd
past,
be good.
past your house, that road was supposed to connect all the way back to
Yeah.
Keystone
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the developers aren't gonna come out there and put houses up until there's a decent road getting out there. That's what it comes down to.
There's the sewer line ends right there east to, or west of your house too, doesn't it?
Yeah, the infrastructure isn't all in
There's
yet.
one more lot to the west of me. And, but it's all gravity down to the, I call it the draw.
Right.
So the infrastructure side is there. And that's a huge, I think Elaine actually had somebody from the state, and she gave them a tour out there, kind of explaining the housing issue we have. And maybe you guys don't think we have a housing issue.
Oh, we do.
Oh, we know that.
But I think it was last week, it was that and the daycare side of things. You know, and I know they're working on something, Pepsi, and then I think there's another project in the works.
Yeah, I mean, and I will say that, every single person pretty much that was at that league conference said they had a housing problem. Now, if you're Manhattan and you're got a business come in and it's paying $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year, that's a pretty easy solution. They will just go out and build themselves new houses. Now, in Marysville, a lot of the jobs we have are not go out and build a new house, wage scale jobs.
Kind of free up houses so other ones.
I mean, that does, I mean, they gotta build new and move up, and you keep shuffling up, and somebody moves into the bottom house, I mean, kind of a thing. But, no, you're looking like you're gonna say something.
Come on, Kevin.
No, me. My house is paid
that
for,
was-
I'm staying where I'm
well,
at, sorry.
exactly,
I ain't moving
exactly.
again.
So we'll have John look into kind of some of what our options are, and then otherwise, I mean, she touched on the land bank. The league did make some changes to their, personnel policy that we're kind of going through, and we're in the process of updating that
Our
anyway.
personnel policy needs to be redone, and we know that, and especially if they come with
There were some
medical
things.
marijuana and things that change our handbooks.
We also have to
Let me
have,
rephrase that. We are working on
Yeah,
getting
we
on.
have been working on it.
That's
for a while.
that's what we should say. We are working
Okay,
on it.
yeah, we have been working on it for,
Couple months.
yeah, several months, actually.
yeah, there's a few changes. They got a new lawyer at the league, so, actually, they got quite a few new faces.
And
at
our
the league.
handbook is almost word for word theirs from before, so.
Okay, then, yeah, there's one more thing to discuss.
Well, there is one, like, one of the things was that you have to have a procedure in place for if, say, a council member sexually harasses somebody else. Because there was some town and city that didn't have a policy in place, didn't get reported, and they got in a lot of trouble because there was no procedure. So that has to get rolled in there. Yeah.
The other thing to bring up is, we require our guys to have CDLs, right?
Not all of them, certain jobs.
Yeah.
Majority of them. We're gonna have to start figuring out how to get CDL guys. Because now, if I remember right, and you might know more than I do, Jeff.
I've heard it's
but
gotten a lot harder.
I think you have to go to a school now to get a CDL.
There's kind of ways around that a little bit if you have
There.
experience. There is. Or if you can hook up with somebody that is an accredited trainer. I would hope that everybody that we have has a CDL, valid. and we have a random drug testing policy to control.
Right, but what I'm looking at is, we got quite a few that could retire that have CDLs. I'm trying to figure out how to fill them jobs back.
You get a new hire, what do you have to do?
There's ways around that.
Is there?
I would work with like the Hyman boys over in Lemont County, because they're set up as a accredited training group or whatever.
Oh, okay, I didn't know
When
that.
I called the state and said, okay,
Well, that's-
what can I do? And the guy, the man is from Wichita, and he said, if you just have a few, you don't have near enough. If you just have a few, he said, I personally would train them through Zoom if you can train them to drive.
Right.
So, he told me that he would work with me. He's a state guy, from the Division of Driving or whatever they are, DMV.
It's just something to put
And,
on the
but
radar.
he did suggest, he said, you know, I'm affiliated with Beloit, so, but I told him that was quite a ways to go. But if you know that the Heinen brothers can do it and they're certified,
Yeah,
that works too.
right before that law went into effect, I mean, they gave a class every other day, and I know they're still doing it, because they're helping out, I think they're helping out the J6 guys too.
Well, I wondered, somebody was helping out Farmers Co-op, because they had a bunch of them going through there from the, maybe not Farmers Co-op, the other one, Ag.
I think it more pertains to like the long haul over the road, even if you went through the class, you don't know how to drive a truck type of training.
I just know they changed it, and I didn't know exactly, I guess what I'm looking at is, the conversation I'm headed for is, if we hire somebody and they have to get a CDL, we have to figure out, number one, how to train them, and number two, who's gonna pay for it, and number three is, what kind of contract you're gonna come up with that they're not leaving anytime soon. Because some of the things I've heard is like $4,500 for the class, and that's the conversation of,
I think that's if I walked out of my door at the house tomorrow morning and wanted to go get a license and then go seek a job. If you're working for somebody, it's a little different.
right, that's what we need to find out. You know what I'm
He
saying?
told me flat out that he could do it and it wouldn't
Yep.
cost.
I think you're okay.
And
Mark.
he's from the DMV, and the way we've always handled it before is CDLs, that's on you. You want a CDL, it's on you, we'll pay for your first one. But, you know, we'll give you a book, and we'll give you a truck to go take the license, or the test, I guess is what I would say. And
Okay.
so, I was a little relieved after I called him, because I was pretty well jacked up about the same thing when that was going through, and I did do some research on it.
I just don't wanna be here in 5 years and we have nobody to drive the snowplow.
Yeah.
We would look, a little dumb.
I can find out from my sister if J6 what they do, because she does all the paperwork for the trucks and stuff.
I just know that I called the guy from the DMV, and he's out of Wichita.
I think the city's okay.
That's all I had. So I make a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Third.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?